Screws are one of the most commonly used fasteners in the world. They are used to hold together everything from furniture to machinery. The head of the screw is an important part of its design. The head is what allows the screw to be turned and tightened. There are many different types of screw heads, each with its own purpose. Two main types of screws heads are countersunk head and non-countersunk heads. Countersunk screws have a conical shape with a flat bottom, which allows them to be flush with the surface when installed. The most common type of countersunk screw has a 90-degree angle, but other angles are available as well. Countersunk screws are used in many applications where a flush finish is desired, such as in cabinets and furniture. Countersunk screws are installed using a drill and bit that is slightly smaller than the screw diameter. The hole should be deep enough so that the head of the screw is flush with the surface. A counterbore may also be used, which is a pilot hole with an enlarged area at the bottom for the head of the screw. Non-countersunk screws have a flat head with a Phillips, hex, or slotted drive. The head sits above the surface of the material being fastened. Non-countersunk screws are best used in materials that are too thin to countersink the screw or when a flush surface is not required. Non-countersunk screws heads offer superior holding power. This is due to the fact that the screw head is not countersunk into the material, which allows for more surface area contact and a tighter grip. A screw is a type of fastener, in some ways similar to a bolt. See differentiation between bolt and screw below, typically made of metal, and characterized by a helical ridge, known as a male thread, external thread. Screws are used to fasten materials by digging in and wedging into a material when turned, while the thread cuts grooves in the fastened material that may help pull fastened materials together and prevent pulling out. There are many screws for different purposes: wood screws, machine screws, cap screws, self-tapping screws, drywall screws, etc. The head can be flat or countersunk so that when the screw is driven in fully it sits flush with or below the surface. It can also have various shapes that allow greater torque to be applied. There are 22 common types of screws heads as listed below: flat head, flange head, binding head, bugle head, dome head, raised head, truss head, combination head, pin head, sentinel head, two-hole head, Phillips head, internal head, external head, posy drive head, quadrex head, slotted head, square recess head, Torx plus head, star head, tri-wing head, Torx head. Let us see each types of screws heads in detail in this article. A flathead screw is a type of fastener with a head that is flat or slightly countersunk. The flathead is designed to sit flush with the surface of the material it is being screwed into. This makes flathead screws ideal for use in applications where a smooth, finished look is desired. Flathead screws are commonly used in woodworking and machine screws. They are also used in some types of electrical connectors. The advantage of a flathead screw is that it can be flush with the surface of the material it is being installed into. The disadvantages of a flathead screw include the fact that they are more likely to strip than other types of screws and they are not as strong as some other types of fasteners. See also how to weld, repair engine block. A flange head screw is a type of fastener used in many different applications. It is characterized by a wide, flat head with a hole in the center. The flange head screw is designed to distribute the load evenly over a large area, making it ideal for use in situations where high loads are anticipated. The screws are also useful in applications where a large amount of torque is required for installation or removal. This type of screw is typically used in applications where there is high stress or vibration, such as in engines or machinery. Binding head screws are most commonly used in the electronics industry for mounting printed circuit boards and other electronic components. They are also used in the automotive industry for fastening plastic parts. The main advantage of binding head screws is that they can be tightened or loosened without the need for tools. This makes them ideal for applications where frequent assembly and disassembly are required. Continue reading to learn about types of screws heads. A bugle head screw has a conical head with a flat top and an undercut bottom. The sides of the head are sloped, making it easier to drive the screw into place with a Phillips screwdriver. The bugle shape of the head also helps to prevent the screw from stripping out the wood as it is driven in. The bugle head screw is most commonly used in woodworking applications, but can also be used in metal or plastic. It is important to choose the right size and type of bugle head screw for the material you are working with to ensure a tight, secure fit. A dome head screw is a type of fastener that has a raised, rounded head. The head is typically wider than the shaft of the screw, and it sits atop a cylindrical shaft that tapers to a point. Dome head screws are used in a variety of applications, including attaching hardware to wood and metal surfaces. A raised head screw is a type of fastener that has a protruding head, which helps to keep the screw in place while it is being driven into the material. The raised head also provides a larger surface area for the driver to grip, making it easier to drive the screw into the material. Raised head screws are commonly used in applications where a large amount of torque is required, such as in construction or automotive applications. A truss head screw has a large, flat head with a slightly domed top. The head is designed to distribute the load evenly over a large area. This type of screw is often used in applications where a large amount of force is required. The truss head screw is typically made from a strong material such as steel or stainless steel. A combination head screw is a type of fastener that has two different types of heads on either end. The first head is designed to be driven with a Phillips or slotted driver, while the second head can be driven with a hex driver. This allows for the screw to be driven in with one type of driver and then removed with another, making it ideal for applications where the screw needs to be removed frequently. A pin head screw is a small, thin screw with a very sharp point. It is used in many applications where a tiny, strong screw is needed, such as in electronics. Pinhead screws are also known as needle screws or micro screws. A pinhead screw is a small screw with a very small head, typically used in electronics. They are often used in applications where a regular screw would be too large, or where space is limited. Pinhead screws are also sometimes used for decorative purposes. See also screw chart size. The sentinel head screw is designed for use in high-strength concrete and masonry. The head of the screw is designed to grip the material more securely, making it more difficult for the screw to loosen or come out. The screw has a unique head design that allows it to be installed flush with the surface of the material, providing a clean, finished look. The screw is also available in a variety of lengths and diameters to suit your specific application. Two-hole head screws are screws with two holes drilled into the head. The holes are used to insert a driver, which provides more torque and prevents the head from stripping. Two-hole head screws are ideal for applications where a higher level of torque is required, such as in decking or fence building. This allows for more versatility when attaching the screw to a surface, as well as greater holding power. The extra hole also makes it easier to remove the screw, if necessary. The Phillips head screw is one of the most common screws in use today. It was invented by John P. Thompson in the early 20th century, and named after his employer, Henry Phillips. The Phillips head screw has a cross-shaped head, which allows it to be driven by a Phillips head screwdriver. The cross shape also allows the screw to be driven by a regular screwdriver if the tip of the screwdriver is placed in the center of the cross. The Phillips head screw is used in many applications, including woodworking, automotive assembly, and electronics. It is particularly well suited for use in applications where the screw needs to be driven into a hard material, such as metal. An internal hex head screw is a type of screw that has a hexagonal recess in the head. This recess is used to drive the screw with a hexagonal wrench or driver. Internal hex head screws are commonly used in machinery and equipment where a high degree of torque is required. Internal hex head screws are generally easy to install and remove. However, care must be taken not to over-tighten the screw, as this can damage the threads. An external hex head screw has a hexagonal head, which is used to drive the screw into place. The head is six-sided and is driven with a wrench. The advantage of an external hex head screw is that it can be driven with more torque than a comparable Phillips or slotted head screw. The advantage of an external hex head screw over other types of screws is that it can be driven with a wrench or socket, making it easier to install and remove. Posey drive screws are a type of screw head that is designed for use with power drivers. It is very similar to the Phillips head screw, but it has a slightly different shape. The main difference between the two is that the Posey drive head is not as deep as the Phillips's head. This makes it less likely to strip the screws when you are driving them, and the threads on the screw are tapered so that they can grip into the material being fastened. The screws are available in both standard and metric sizes. A quadrex head screw is a type of fastener that has 4 sides and is driven by a Phillips or slotted driver. See also acids for metal etching, DIY guide. It is used in applications where a higher level of torque is required, such as in automotive and construction applications. Quadrex screws are also known as square drive screws. The advantage of a quadrex screw over other types of screws is that it can be driven in with less force, making it ideal for use in confined spaces or areas where there is limited clearance. A slotted head screw is a type of fastener with a head that has been machined with a linear slot for driving with a flat blade driver. Slotted screws are not as strong as other types of fasteners, such as Phillips head screws. Slotted screws are generally easier to remove than Phillips head or other types of screws, but they are also more likely to loosen over time. Because of this, they are not typically used in applications where a high degree of security is required. A square recess head screw is a type of fastener that has a square-shaped indentation in the head, as opposed to the more common Phillips or slotted screws. This provides greater resistance to slipping and cam out, making them ideal for use in high-torque applications. Square recess head screws are easy to use and provide a strong hold. The square shape of the recess helps to prevent the screw from slipping when it is being driven into the material. Square recess head screws are also less likely to strip than Phillips head screws. A Torx Plus head screw has a 6-pointed star-shaped head. The advantage of this type of screw is that it is less likely to strip than a traditional Phillips head screw. The downside is that you need a special tool to remove them, and they are more expensive. Torx Plus screws can be driven with either a standard Torx bit or a special Torx Plus bit. A star head screw has a star-shaped head. The advantage of this type of screw is that it is less likely to slip when being driven into a surface than a traditional Phillips or flathead screw. Star head screws are also known as Torx screws. They were developed in the 1960s by the Camcar division of Textron Incorporated and are now used in a wide variety of applications. The star-shaped head allows for greater torque to be applied to the screw without risk of stripping the head. A tri-wing screw is a type of screw with 3 wings and a triangular shape. It is used in many electronic devices, including the Nintendo Wii, GameCube, and Wii U. The tri-wing screw is also known as the Y-shaped screw or the crosshead screw. It has 3 wings or lobes and is used to fasten metal or plastic sheets together. The head has 3 wings that fit into a triangular recess in the body. The body is threaded so that it can be screwed into place. The tri-wing screw is named for its 3 wings, which are arranged in a triangle around the head of the screw. Torx head screws are one of the most popular types of screws on the market. They are used in a variety of applications, from construction to electronics. Torx head screws are known for their unique 6-pointed star-shaped heads, which allow for more torque to be applied to the screw. This results in a tighter grip and less chance of the screw stripping.